You're on Air with Jaimee, the place for industry leaders ready to scale to 7 figures and beyond. Today's show is brought to you by The Shift, my one-on-one intensive session to help you completely shift the trajectory of your business in just 7 days. Welcome back to what I am coining right now the most juicy episode of the year so far. I have been so inspired to sit down and record this episode literally after watching a TikTok. But before I dive into all of that, of course, I want to open the episode by reading you a little excerpt from my journal. Honestly, I'm loving this little journal excerpt series. I feel like, I know I say this every week, but I feel like my journaling sessions are on fire at the moment. I do want to say I'm not journaling every single day, only when I feel really aligned and really called to do it. I'm not into that force energy, but the things that are coming through are just absolutely next level. And your girl is no gatekeeper. I'm here to share it all with you. So buckle up. You are here to be seen by the masses. Don't apologize for it. Own it. Your message needs to be heard. You need to speak it, shout it, scream it, so that those who are tapped in can hear it. This year, you will no longer apologize for your bigness, your boldness, your braveness. This year, you will be more, be big, be bold, be loud. See yourself and be seen. Hear yourself and be heard. Stop looking around and look within. Honestly, it gives me goosebumps reading things like that to you. I feel like the messages that I get through these sessions are just as much messages and reminders for me as they are for you, because sometimes we just need that little reminder that we are here for big things, that calling, that pining, that thing that is on our heart really is here for a reason, and it is here for us to share that message. Today's episode is literally inspired by a TikTok that I just saw, and it was one of those really emotional sound bites over the video montage. And it literally started with the words like, most people will not make it to the end of this video. And instantly I was like determined to be the person who makes it to the end of the video. And what's crazy is that it went on to say, like, it was talking about entrepreneurship and making 7 figures and beyond in your business, and how it really is a journey of grit and tenacity, a journey of being able to hold that vision and continue despite not seeing the evidence in your external circumstances. Now, these are my words, not the words of the person who created the video. I honestly don't know their name, so I'm not quoting anything at all that they say. But the lesson that this video really posed was that only a small percent of people really had what it took to get to the end of that video. And he was talking about how it's a boring video, and he's made it that way for a reason, to really drive home this point. And it really got me thinking about this whole journey, this wild journey of entrepreneurship that we are all embarking upon, and how there's only really such a small percentage of people who set out on this journey and who actually make it to becoming something, to making something of it, to reaching the end results that they desire. And the reason is that most people don't have this grit and this tenacity. Most people tap out when it starts to get hard. And there's so much that I can say about this. And so I decided to put it all in one juicy as fuck podcast episode for you. This is literally the secret of the 1% of those people who are creating everything that you desire in your life. This is their secret. Are you ready? Are you ready? It is their ability to sit in creative tension. Now, you're probably like, what the fuck is creative tension, Jaimee? I've never heard that before. You've totally made that up. I didn't make it up, but let me explain it to you. Creative tension is literally the tension that you feel between where you are now and the desires that you have. It is that space in between. It is that space of a literally pure creative energy pulling you towards your desires, pulling you towards those big goals, that big vision that you have for your life. Creative tension leads to momentum. Now, by this, by this rule, this method, this construct, we should all reach our desires, right? But we don't. So what happens? There are two things that happen here. When we sit in creative tension, when we sit in this tension of creating, of moving, of manifesting towards our desires, it's like these identity shifts that we make to become the version of us that already has those things. It's the action that we're needing to take to bring those things into our reality. It's the lives, it's the programs, it's the launches, the stories. It's literally all of the things that we are doing and being and creating that are bringing us one step forward to our desires. When we sit in this energy, many of us will start to have these beliefs and these stories and this stuff pop up that creates an opposing tension. I call this psychological tension, right? And it's basically limiting beliefs. It's conditioning. It's stories. It's unintegrated shadows. It is literally all the stuff that is holding you back and keeping you stuck. When we start making changes in our life towards a desired future that is unknown to us, things that we haven't achieved before, our brain literally starts throwing up red flags because it feels unsafe. Your subconscious is designed to keep you safe, to keep you from harm. And it sees harm in anything that it hasn't yet experienced. So every time you set out on this journey to create something new, to change your life, to work towards a new goal, you will feel resistance pop up. You will feel stories pop up, limiting beliefs, ways that cause you to feel unworthy, right? This is psychological tension. And its sole purpose is to pull you back in the other direction and keep you stuck where you are. Stuck in your comfort zone, stuck in your safety net, stuck in the familiarity of what you already know. Okay, so the secret of the 1% of the people who make their dreams come true, who reach their 7 figures and beyond in business, is that they do not allow this psychological tension to come in and keep them stuck. They don't allow it. They're able to move despite this tension. They're able to, imagine this psychological tension as being all ropes pulling you back. They're able to cut the ropes one by one so that they can stay in creation and in momentum and move towards their desires. And obviously, this is where the reprogramming comes in that I do. People do shadow work, EFT tapping, all of that stuff, right? That is where those amazing modalities, that inner work, if you will, really plays a big part in this journey of entrepreneurship. It is cutting those ropes of the things that are holding you back from making moves towards your desires. And the speed at which you move towards your desires, the speed, people refer to this as collapsing time, when they're able to move really quickly through things to the point where often it's like illogical growth comes. The speed of that happening is all related to the speed at which you can cut those ropes, the speed at which you can move through that psychological tension and remain in creative tension, in the creative structure. This is where the magic is created. Now, I'm going to be really real with you here. Being in creative tension can feel uncomfortable as fuck, because to a degree, it may feel like you are not moving anywhere, because it's the space between, remember, what you want, where you are now, and what you desire, right? It's that space in between. And so often it's requiring movement and creation without seeing external validation. And this is where most people will throw in the towel. I'm sure everyone has seen, there's like a meme or like an image of these two people underground mining or digging for gold, right? And there's one that's so much further ahead than the other. And he literally turns around and gives up when he's just one little pitchfork, one little dig away from reaching that goal. And this is what happens. We give up too soon because we're not seeing the things come into our reality at the speed that we decided that they needed to come into our reality. Like I said, it's uncomfortable as fuck. But the 1% know that their success is inevitable as long as they stay in momentum, as long as they stay in this creative tension and in this creation mode. Now, our ego doesn't like this because our ego pops up and it tells us things like, it should have happened by now. And you're obviously doing something wrong because you haven't reached it yet. And then the worthiness wounds start to pop up and you start to question whether you actually have what it takes to succeed. Well, I'm here to tell you that as long as you can sit in this tension, noticing the discomfort of it, not resisting the discomfort, just noticing that it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. And choosing to stay focused on the big vision instead. This is all you need to do to move forwards. This comes down to full trust in yourself. Literally knowing that your success is inevitable, because it is. By all of the laws of the universe, even in hustle culture, right? Even in people that will sit and tell you, you just need to go, 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 go. At some point, you have to reach the end result. So anyone who's sitting there and is like, well, I've been at this for years and I still have not reached it, I am telling you, you need to keep going. You do not know how close you are to that pot of gold, to that chunk of gold. You don't know how close you are. You literally can be one video away, one launch away, one client away from reaching everything that you desire to reach, to achieve, to create in your life. You must be willing to stay in this creative tension no matter what and no matter how long it takes. I saw another video today that was talking about conditional failure. I think she called it. Oh, I can't remember, but it's unimportant. But it was talking about this study that was done with children. And they were basically given 3 different words that could be, like, you could jumble the letters. There's an actual name for this, but obviously you girls not a school teacher, so I do not know the terms for this, right? But basically this group of children were given 3 different words that were able to have their letters jumbled up to make other words. And what happened was, like, most of the class got the first one. It was like a 3-letter word. And so it was really easy to just shift them around a little bit. Like, you could literally swap the beginning and end letters and it made a whole new word. And so most of the class got that, right? The second word was a little bit more difficult. And so only half of the class got the second word. And what they found was, by the third word, anyone who hadn't gotten either of the first 2 completely gave up and didn't even try to figure out the third word. And so what was left of students that actually figured out the third word was this tiny percent of the class. And it just like, it is such a testament to this journey of entrepreneurship, because what happens? We don't get something right the first time, and so we give up. Or we get something, we don't get it right the first time, and then we don't get it right another time. And so we're like, oh, well, this obviously isn't for me. Something's not working. And yet it was the people who continued to push through no matter what that figured it out in the end. You must be willing to stay in this creative tension without making anything about you, without making your perceived failures in this area mean anything about you. This creative tension may absolutely be laced with perceived failures. You will have launches that do not go to plan. You will have clients that ask for refunds. You will have things that just do not turn out the way that you desired. And you will feel at times like you couldn't be further away from your dreams. But you must be willing to sit in this and not make it mean anything, not make these perceived failures cause you to give up on taking those steps forward towards your dreams. I am actually going to leave this episode here. I really want this one to be a short and spicy and punchy one for you. But if you feel like you are sitting in this energy, in this creative tension, but you feel totally stuck and totally stagnant, then I invite you to reach out. I have put together a brand new one-on-one intensive session where we will dive so deep into your business, your desires, your identity, and where you want to go, what needs to shift. And we will move you through this energy in the space of literally 7 days. It is a one-on-one 2 to 3 hour intensive with me, followed up with a week of voice notes so that we can really integrate everything, because so much comes up through these calls. They're honestly wild, the things that get uncovered that you didn't even know was there, right? So we have a week to integrate it, and then we finish off our week with another rapid recode to shift any of the energy that might have come up and still be sitting stagnant over the week, because, these things are not once and done miracle cures. But I honestly invite you to reach out and let's talk about getting a session booked in. These sessions are honestly so wild. The shifts that I have seen come from these once-off sessions. And I say brand new because I've slightly tweaked the way that I am running these. They didn't previously come with the 7 days of voice access, and they didn't come with the secondary recode. So these are going to be even more powerful than the first round that I did that were just the one-on-one intensive sessions. But it's because I desire you to get a greater transformation. But honestly, the transformations that I've seen already from these sessions are next level. I have literally watched women build entire second businesses, second income streams, fully passive income streams. I've had people reach out and say that they've had those, unicorn pay in full clients literally reach out to them out of nowhere after having these sessions, after clearing these blocks. And I've literally seen women completely restructure the way that they were doing business to really set them up for their next path forward. So if you are stuck, if you are feeling stagnant, if you feel like there is something that needs to shift in your business, but you cannot quite put your finger on what it is, reach out to me. Let's have a discussion. Let's get you booked in, and let's shift this energy and literally change the trajectory of your business.